Doesn't that make you want to go hiking? Yes. We should just lay that music under the entire show because then we'll just be dancing here. Anyway, everybody, thank you for tuning in to Deborah Kobylt Live today. We've got a really fun show that makes you just want to get up and dance or hike. Great segue, huh? Lisa Taitelman. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Lisa Taitelman, quickly becoming a friend of mine. She's the creator of Finding Your Trail. I found you on Instagram because, you know, you troll your friend's stuff. And I saw you with pictures, you know, with a bunch of women that I knew hiking. I'm like, whoa, how do I get in on this party? Because this looks like a lot of fun.
Yes.
And then I learned about that this is a business for you.
Yes.
But it's sort of spawned out of something that was a passion. And then before that, it was almost a necessity. Like a mental health necessity.
Yes.
So let's take you back a little bit.
Okay.
Into your adventures into hiking. When did you start hiking and why?
Good question. I get this question all the time.
I know.
So, first of all, I've been a stay-at-home mom for 21 years, and I have two beautiful children. My son's 19, my daughter's 17 almost, and a wonderful and amazing husband who is a dear friend, a great father, and an amazing husband. But it was really 22 years ago where I lost my mom to cancer. And
so something we have in common, losing our moms. I didn't lose mine to cancer, but I get it. And mine was recent. So,
and it still feels like yesterday, but it was a very, very devastating time for me. I was really close with her. And we just had that unbelievable relationship, mother-daughter. And when I lost her, I was very depressed and stuck and paralyzed, that I found it really hard to even get out of bed in the morning.
A lot of people don't understand that because we all grieve differently. I mean, essentially your story, a lot of it is about grief.
Yeah.
And how the grief, over time, you managed to turn around and you found something so great that helped you through the grief, and now you share it with other people. But I just want to say to all of you who are in a similar position, having lost a loved one, everybody's grief time is different. I'm still grieving. It's been over a few years now, and people will say, oh my God, it's like over 2 years. I'm like, wait a minute. The void in someone's life, it depends on how we all take it. It's hard.
Everyone
it's
grieves
hard.
differently.
People need to understand that.
Definitely.
That's all. Anyway, carry on.
I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
But it was a very difficult time. I was just getting married and having babies, and I really was stuck and paralyzed, and I didn't know what to do. And I always loved to exercise. I'm a big fan of exercise. For breathing, for you and I, is the same exercising for me. I have to do it. And I started to hike 21 years ago. And it was through these trails and through the mountains that I needed to find out what hiking would teach me. And what I found was it taught me a lot. And
you did this because your grief, you know, was just so strong. You said, I got to get out. Because I understand. Yeah. I started walking and doing marathons, which was crazy because I'd never done one. But I get it. You just need to get out. It's either that or you're going to stay home.
Yeah, I had to get out, and just being out in nature and breathing that fresh air and being surrounded by beauty, I started to heal. And I started to feel alive again. And it was through these countless trails that I found mind-body connection and how important it is for every one of us, especially women who are doing so many different things and helping so many people, that we have to find that connection and that place in our soul where we feel alive. And I often tell my girls on my hiking groups to go where you feel alive, because that's where the magic happens.
You know, and I took your words very seriously. You know, you don't just run this haphazardly, may I say, because I know I joined your group, and our first, knees and all, because I've got a hurt knee. I remember the first time we met over at Will Rogers, and before we went, we just had a little talk and a little chat, and it wasn't like guru or weird. It was just normal. And it just sort of got you in a vibe of, okay, this is gonna be something really fun, really relaxing. You can go on your own, you can talk to people, whatever, but just try and get into the zone of appreciating what's around you.
Yes.
And I instantly just fell in love with what you do.
Thank you.
You make it very easy, I have to say, and it's clear this comes out of something you love deeply.
Yes.
You really get to know those trails, don't you? It's almost
really
like they're
do.
your friend.
Yeah, they are my friend, and they have shown me the way. The greatest tragedy in my life has led me down this path, and I do believe she's with me through every hike I take. And it really has inspired me to go and think bigger, and think deeper. And it really was this feeling to make a difference for other women and to show them that we have this opportunity. You're never stuck, that there is always a place to grow and learn and reinvent yourself. And I'm going to be 55 next month, and I can't believe how fast the time goes. My mom was 57 when she died, so I realized how much life she had left in her.
Yeah.
But it's just never too late to do something for you. And so it really was that passion that drew me to helping other women and taking them on this journey with me.
There's so much I have to say about this, because when you're feeling depleted, if you will, we're in a society currently where they will push a pill. And now some people may need pills. I'm not saying not to do that, but I am one to initially go outside and see. For me, it's the ocean and hiking. If I just watch the waves a little bit, it immediately transforms me. Yeah. You know, to be at one with what we're born into is nature. We're all part of it. Definitely. It's a beautiful connection.
Yes.
And you've connected with that.
Feeling.
A grounding, literally. And you've connected that through your hiking. I loved, can we talk about when we took a little rest and you told me that your mom comes to you in the form of a bird. Okay, people, just go with this for a minute. And I said to you...
I appreciate you understand that.
Because
too.
I do, because I get it. Most people, including myself, will go like, woo. But go with me for a minute. Your mom comes to you in the form of a bird. Yeah. And my mom comes to me in the form of a butterfly. Like I said, go with me. So we're sitting here kind of at the top of the trail. There's not much really there. And all of a sudden, an enormous butterfly, right? Not just a little guy, just comes through. And there was no other butterfly there.
And very close to
yes,
us.
Like literally right next to me, if you remember. And it was a large one, all alone. And I was like, how you doing, Edith? Because I decided that was my mom. Okay, maybe not, but that's how it felt.
Yes,
and about a second later, this bird comes by, also not joined by any others. And I'm thinking, wow. So Edith and your mom were like hanging out on the trail that day. I mean, it does give you some sense of peace, or that they're still with you. Yeah. And if you can kind of go with that a little bit, it eases the pain.
Definitely.
You agree?
It's very comforting.
Yeah.
She's with me on every hike, and she comes to me many times, and I feel her presence, which is very comforting. And I really believe she's led me down this path. And
I do too.
I really feel so comforted by that. And I've met some of the most incredible women, and I cannot express how fulfilled I feel in my life. This has done such an incredible thing for me. You know, going back to school. I went back to school a couple years ago.
Yeah, you got your MBA, correct, in holistic healing, is that right?
An HMBA in holistic coaching and transformational coaching. So I went through Health Coach Institute, which has been such a life-changing experience, meeting this tribe of amazing, like-minded people. One in particular I would love to shout out. Her name is Robin Pollak, who...
Hey, Robin.
Robin, thank you, Robin. I love you dearly. She and I connected at a retreat and really kind of guided me also. You know, she has this intuition and helps people kind of guide into their passion. And she really... is someone that I hold dear to my heart. And another one is my dear friend Susan Saltzman, who is my business coach, who helped me put together this program and really saw my vision and really listened to it. And I really appreciate everything she's done for me.
Because your vision is consistent. It's not just a bunch of girls getting together hiking. It's like, all right, you go over here. You have a message that you're trying to get across and trying to sort of help everybody. Yeah. You know, and we all just have different forms of stress that we go through each day. And it's nice to just connect with other people. Mine may be very different than yours and the next person. But at the end of the day, we all have something that we'd like to share. And that's helpful, too.
Yes.
That we're not all in it alone. I look at the people who recently took their lives that were in the public eye. And there's so many others. And I think if only we could get together and talk about things as opposed to feeling ashamed. And then we have to keep it hidden.
Exactly. And that's what this is about. When women come together, the magic happens. We connect, we support each other, we share, we nurture each other. And it's something that women really need. We need our sisters. And that's why this women's circle, I like to call it, when we get together on the top of the mountain, which is an accomplishment in itself, the whole metaphor about hiking is kind of how I look at life. You have this goal and you want to get to the top of that mountain. And when you do, you have that sense of accomplishment. And that's how I feel when I look at each one of these women who get to the top of that mountain, and it gives them that sense of
accomplishment. You know,
it's really awesome to watch it.
I know. I couldn't get to the top of your mountain. I'm so bummed because of my knee. I really did. I don't know. I tore my meniscus 2 days ago.
I know.
I know. My knees are truly
so sorry.
saying, I'm please help me. And then I'll maybe get an injection, and then I'll think, okay, I'm better, and then I'll push it, and I'm thinking, I'm at that point where I'm thinking, do I go for surgery? Do I rest it for 2 weeks? I can't even rest it.
It's hard to rest.
I can't.
I know.
I went to the beach yesterday to do my research, actually, on you and Michael Reagan, who I had on before you. And even then, I shouldn't have done it.
I had to follow Ronald Reagan's
son.
son?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you're in good company today.
This is really good company. I feel really honored.
Well, he's doing something quite amazing. He's a really philanthropic guy.
Yeah.
And he's done so much charitable work, especially for kids, foster kids, and also folks who have fought in the war. And he's designed something called Walkway. It's a long story, but over in Normandy, where you can purchase bricks for people who were fighting in World War II. It's just one of many things that Michael Reagan's done. So yes, you follow the president's son.
Yes,
but and he has also had his own share of misguidings. He really has, and he's very open about it. That's what I mean. If people just admit to things and just think it opens us all up.
It really truly does. And like I said, you know, it's never too late to reinvent yourself.
Nope.
Whatever it is that's nudging you, I talk a lot about in my program. I felt the nudge for a while to do something, you know, that I felt the empty nest syndrome coming on, that I call it, instead of an empty nest syndrome, I don't really like that phrase, I call it a new season. And I felt this new season coming on. And, you know, it's never too late for all of us women. We're never stuck. There's always opportunity to do it,
and
whatever
say,
your dreams are.
Try and do that a little bit before they're all leaving. I still have a kid at home, and I have two who, you know, are in school, and or one who just graduated, actually. And it's a little hard, but if you try and acclimate yourself before and think about what you can. It's also a time, as you said, a new season, to find something that you really love to do.
Exactly.
I mean, if you really, really must have work at this time in life for the money, that's a different story. But if you can, in fact, find what you love to do and turn that into a business.
How great is that?
Fear. Let's talk about fear.
Fear, the number one reason why most of us are doing what we want to do.
Including you at first. You were fearful.
I was fearful.
Tell me about that. You said maybe nobody's going to show up.
Yeah,
right?
you know, I spent a lot of money on school, which was worth every penny, and with my business coach, and I said, you know, what if no one would show up for this program? And I really, truly felt in my soul, I saw it, I envisioned it, I believed it, and I saw myself literally on the top of that mountain. This makes me emotional. Just with these women, I seriously saw it. And when you believe it like that in your soul and your heart and in your core and your gut, you can believe and achieve anything. So I truly believe when you see it, believe it, you can achieve it. And I never thought for a minute that no one was going to show up.
You were fearful.
I was fearful.
You were like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
But you did it anyway.
I kind of did it anyway, and you got to take that step.
I am great for telling people, get up, go do it. I know you're scared. I'll come over, I'll hold your hand, but go. Yeah. Because if you don't, I always look at it this way. If you don't, you're absolutely going to regret not doing it. You're just going to be sitting there in the same spot. Absolutely. Better to be on that mountain, right, by yourself with nobody coming, and then you could say, all right, I'm going to think of a business plan to get just one person here next week, right?
Absolutely.
Tell me about your business plan. So how did you do it? So you sent it out on email to friends?
Yeah.
Instagram seems to be good for you.
Instagram is great, and Facebook. And I would say a dear friend of mine, Lori Altman, who I've known through soccer.
I know Lori.
Yeah.
Good girl.
She's great. She her and I became friends through soccer. Our girls played soccer together. And I told her about my business plan. And she said, I have 10 girls that will be all over this. They love to hike. They love to be out in nature. They love to connect. And they all emailed me, and literally within 10 minutes, all 10 signed up. And that was my first program.
So cool.
That was my winter session girls, and they were very special, and I still keep in touch with them. I have a lot of exciting things on the horizon for Finding Your Trail. I am speaking about taking this across the country. I have a lot of things that are in the process I'm working with.
The dry bar of hiking, if you will.
We'll see. But that would be great. And I'd love to expand it into other cities and have partners.
Well, you can do that. And if they follow your vision, you know, if you go to a dry bar here, or if you go to a dry bar in Florida or Vegas or New York, you know what you're getting.
Exactly.
Very consistent. And as long as they follow your trail and your vision, it can happen.
Yeah.
It really can happen.
It's very exciting.
That's super, super exciting.
Very, very much so. And it's very close to my heart. I feel like it's like having a baby. I worked 9 months on this, and I had the baby, and now I'm nurturing it and taking care of it and growing, and it's growing, and it's been so exciting for me.
You also did a beach hike. Was that the first time you did that?
No, I did that for my winter group, and that's always a big hit. Everyone loves the beach hike because it's more about relaxing, getting into the zone of the beach and meditating and sharing and finding out really what everybody wants in their life. And I lit some sage, and we all shared and held hands, and it was very special.
Why is it that people, you think, feel almost more stressed out now than ever? Because I think they do, and I'm convinced a lot of it has to do with this phone.
I was just going to say that.
And the social media, and even if you say it's not, it is.
I think it's the cell phone. I think we have way too much noise between our ears, and that we have to get away from the phone. We have to get away from the computer and get out and just take that time and show up for ourselves, because we're so busy showing up for so many other people in our life, our husbands, our kids, our careers, even our pets. Everything else comes first. And as women and moms,
That's true.
we are really like on the bottom, where this is the time to take this 2 hours of this time and show up for yourself. And I think that's what my women are really appreciating, is showing up for themselves when they don't do it.
Well, it's something small like the dinner table, right?
Yeah.
I don't know about your dinner table, but it was hard to get us all at the dinner table because somebody's doing baseball and somebody's in the theater and somebody's at a club. And I'm thinking, this just doesn't feel right, that we all eat at different times. So then we would end up just picking one night a week to have dinner, which still didn't feel right to me. And I'm thinking, well, how is it different that when I was growing up, we were able to have dinner? And I was a skater, so I know I was always busy. But nowadays, people don't even do that. I mean, they're just
I think
splintered.
that these kids they have to be superstars, and you know, they have to be great at sports, they have to be great at a musical instrument, they have to be great at so many things, and they're feeling this pressure to do so much. And for us, you know, my daughter and son played club soccer, and we had those dinners that they were playing. But it's very important to us to have dinners around the table, because that's when
You connect.
you connect, and that's kind of what
The
these
phone
are.
goes over here. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm trying so hard to implement that. Even when two of them come home, it's like, look, half hour? How's that?
Yeah.
Just a half hour, put it over here, and then you could go do what you got to do.
My husband has that rule. He says no phones at the table. We are here to connect with each other, and it's the best.
You know, but even something like gaining weight, okay? Somebody else said to me, look, you know, back in the day, you didn't even have a TV remote. You had to get up and turn the channel. Or
Yeah.
your card, okay, we're going back way back, before my time.
I
even.
remember that.
Really, you know, and you had to put the car in the garage. Well, there was not a remote. You had to get out of your car, open it up, put the car in,
Right.
and close it. That might sound really dumb, but it's a way to get up and do some exercise. Whereas nowadays, we're like this, and
Exactly.
like this, and now we're gonna like cars driving for us. I mean, seriously,
Exactly.
I do think that brings on more stress. I don't want somebody doing that stuff for me. You know?
No. And I think that getting out and hiking, or whatever that means for you, walking or running or going to the gym, whatever that means, every single day, getting outdoors is super important. And just, we live in the most amazing place in Southern California. We have these amazing trails in our own backyard with the ocean views. It's so rare to have the mountain and the oceans together, and the ocean, and it's a very special place, and we have them in our backyard. And a lot of women I hear tell me, you know, I don't hike because I don't have anybody to hike with. Well, I don't believe that for a minute. I think we all can join and be together. I don't want anyone to feel like they don't have anyone to hike with.
Well, sometimes you don't, though, because I have so many friends, and we're always trying to meet to do something. It's like, can you go at 8? No, I can't go till 9. So let's talk about that. Let's say you're alone and you want to go hiking, but you're afraid. A lot of people are a little afraid of that. What would you tell them? Because I'll go out alone, and I'm not even too crazy about it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I've
is it
hiked
safe?
alone. I've hiked alone for 18 years, and it's totally safe. You always see someone on the trail.
You do, and then you know, your little tribe. It's
And
like,
your little
"Oh,"
tribe, hey, how are you?
You know.
But, you know, I understand if people are scared, because if something happens, you know, God forbid, you get bit by a snake, which I've only seen 2 snakes in all these years that I've been hiking, but you do see them. And, you know, there are fears that come from hiking alone, but I think that's when I did my greatest growing within myself, was when I was alone.
I agree with you.
You're forced to go within.
You're forced to talk to yourself,
You're
if you will. One night, again, it was a tough time for me thinking about loss in my life, and I did go out alone, and I went out on Mandeville Canyon. For those of you who are not living in California, that's pretty much on the west side of Los Angeles, off of Sunset Boulevard anyway. So I went pretty deep in. I wasn't even focusing. And then all of a sudden I noticed, oops, the sun's going down. And it was pitch black. I'm talking, I couldn't even see my hand in front of my face.
That's scary.
That was scary because that's when the animals come out too. You know, we do have our mountain lions and whatnot. I'm thinking, uh-oh, what did I do?
Yeah.
So I had bad reception. I called my husband. I said, if you don't see me, it's because I'm stuck somewhere. And then I was afraid of falling on the side, you know, off the side. So I'm scaling myself close to the mountain, and then I'm afraid
I would have been scared.
I mean, I got out of there fine, but you do have to be smart about it. You know, don't go out during sunset and go 3 miles in which case you got out 3 miles out. So, yeah, use your head. So don't
but there's usually people always on these
There was
hikes.
nobody in the pitch black.
Yeah, no.
And in fact, I was thrilled because then I was getting scared. My mind was doing tricks on me, like, what if somebody's hiding in here? I'm thinking, oh, Deborah, stop. So
I'm glad you made it out of there.
I did. I made it out. And, you know, now I'm doing hikes with you.
Yeah.
So moving forward, what are some of the cities that you'd like to get into? If you could tell us any of that.
I can't really speak yet, but it's in progress right now. We're in the process of working on it, and it will be across the country. And there's several people.
Amazing. You haven't even been doing this that long.
No, I know. It's just, I think people understand the allure of hiking. And I think that when you bring women together like this, you know, a lot of us are alone, doing a lot of things alone.
Yes, we are. We may have friends.
But we're
alone.
Still alone.
And a lot of us aren't from here. I'm from back east, and I have an enormous family back there, and I have many, many friends here.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's not my family, and, you know, you got to really find your time.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. I know what you mean. We're alone, but you go out and do that, and you're really not alone.
And you're really not alone. And I think that they're really understanding that we've lost that art of togetherness in this world. We really have, with our cell phones and computers. And I'm just as much to blame for it. But I feel that this is keeping people accountable to show up, exercise, get some fresh air, and connect with other women. And it's such a magical experience that happens every time.
So how do people get in touch with you?
So I have a website, lisataitelman.com. Taitelman.
And we'll put that in our social media for you too as well.
So. Great. And they can find me on Facebook or Instagram, Lisa Taitelman Health Coach. And my next program starts in mid-September for the fall. I have 3 programs.
I have an idea for you.
Okay, great.
People who are a little injured, only because I am.
Yeah.
And you've got a lot of people who might have a knee or an ankle injury, and maybe...
I do.
You do. I know you do.
I do.
I'm one of them. And some of us can't make it to the top. So maybe a day where, look, those of you who can't go as far,
right.
I'd still like you to have the same experience.
Yeah,
so
and there's also a bench midway that people
I went on the bench.
The bench. Everyone loves the bench because there's an option to go midway, and you can look at these amazing ocean views. But
so don't be intimidated.
Yeah, and these hikes are doable. You know, they're I progress from an easier to a harder one. So at the very end is the most difficult. But you don't have to be an advanced hiker. You can be a beginner. A lot of my hikers are beginners. And we all kind of help each other. That's what this is about, you know, and push each other to get out of your comfort zone a little bit.
What would you like people to have as a takeaway? Someone who's maybe sitting at home kind of depressed, or who's listening to this on the radio. What's your takeaway for them? I
think I would tell them that you're never stuck. It's never too late.
Like really, you can be down, so down,
which I
like
was.
You were.
Yes.
How down were you? How bad did it get?
Checked out, and it was a very, very dark time, and I couldn't find my way out. I was really paralyzed, and it really was. I understand that difficult. You feel like you're trapped and you can't get out. And I think that you're never stuck, that there's always tomorrow, and that there's something always waiting for you if you truly believe it and want it. I feel the universe has your back.
Anything. It could be needlepoint. It
Can
could
be
be something. Drawing in a coloring book. Seriously.
right,
Like
that's
whatever
right.
you enjoy.
Exactly.
Just do it because it's
And I always
and
tell
try.
my girls,
We've both been there. We've both been
We've
there.
both been there. I always tell them, do what brings you happiness every single day. You know, put it at the top of your list, because we're doing so many things all day long for so many people that you got to make yourself happy first, and fill up our cup first, and then whatever drops off the end of that cup, that's when we give to others, and we come from a place of.
That's common, though. We're
yeah.
all filling everybody else's cup first,
Always,
you know?
always.
Even if you could do it once a week. I mean, once a
Exactly.
day may be a lot. I mean, I try, but by the end of the day, I'm like, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
But especially when your kids are younger, it's like you can barely breathe,
Exactly,
right? And then when
exactly.
you've got grief on top of it, it's like you're suffocating.
Can't
So
breathe.
just take a breath.
Yeah.
Make it
And take
easy.
it day by day, and just know that there's always possibilities. There's always a possibility. We live in a land of possibilities. And I mean, 6 months it took me to put this together, and now I can't even tell you how exciting this is.
Me too. So I'm so excited you're here to share your story.
I'm so excited you had me here to share it.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Was
Thank
it fun?
you. It was so fun.
You were like, oh my God, what do I wear? I'm
I
kind of
love
nervous.
this.
Like this was like so easy, right?
was great.
Our half hour went by and it's like, hey, I could do more.
I definitely could do more.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us.
you,
Lisa
Deborah.
Taitelman, Finding Your Trail. Please find her on all media outlets. And you can find us, Deborah Kobylt, live on Facebook, on YouTube, Instagram. And you can hear us as a podcast as you're driving around on the iHeartRadio app, on Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, I believe, and on our website, deborahkobylt.com. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye.